What are the costs of revenge, and what are the stories we tell ourselves that make it feel necessary and justified, even as they keep us trapped in suffering? Now, vengeance is the ego fixation at Enneagram Point 8, and in this video, we'll explore a series of clips featuring the character Rick from White Lotus that bring this pattern and its self-limiting tendencies to life.
Tell me, how do you feel today?
I don't know.
Your level of stress, would you say out of 10?
I'm gonna say an 8.
You're always at 8?
Weed helps, but I don't want to travel with it. You wouldn't happen to know if there's a great weed shop nearby.
Can you remember a time in your life when you were totally free of stress?
Well, my mother was a drug addict. She OD'd when I was 10, so
And your father?
I never knew him. He died before I was born. He was, murdered. Yeah. Real fun shit to talk about, right?
Meditation can bring relief to psychic pain. Meditation helps you see that the identity you've created brings you suffering.
I never had an identity. I don't need to detach. I'm already nothing.
Even nothing can be an illusion you tell yourself.
If nobody puts gas in the tank is empty. That's not an illusion. The car won't start. Nothing comes from nothing, right?
Nice. Okay. Well, first of all, I find it kind of funny that he self-identified his stress level as 8, which again might be a subtle reference to his Enneagram type.
Yeah, a little hidden number game in there.
Yeah. What did you see in this clip that you thought was noteworthy?
Well, I mean, I kind of just assume he's an 8. I mean, you don't always really know, but I think it's a giveaway where he's talking about this hero's journey kind of thing, where he's had this really tumultuous childhood and he had to fight through it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other parts and other scenes that kind of let me think that he's probably an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Too.
right.
I mean, there's a little more. I mean, I don't know if that clip really sinks it in or not, but I think it's interesting how he's attached to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just trying to say, this is just a story you're telling yourself.
Or even that actually, if we go with the hypothesis that he's an 8 or whatever,
Yeah.
I think that actually really shows the 5 how the 5-8 connection works.
Okay.
Where there's this kind of intense pain or anger, probably around the dad being murdered thing, and then I've been nothing since then. I don't have an identity. That detachment, and then she kind of points out even that I'm nothing is
an illusion
identity
still
in its own
or
right.
something. Yeah.
So I see this clip kind of showing a little bit of the 8 to 5 connection
Nice.
and the kind of numbing of the intense energy, both from 5, but then also in the joke about the weed helps kind of thing. Also shows another dynamic where
Escaping,
but also
detaching.
8 can be so, one word used is lustful, and it's not only sexually, just like lustful for life, where it's like foot on the gas all the time, like just intense. But then it's like, how do you calm down from that? And you can learn through the Enneagram how to calm down, maybe healthy uses of the 5 wing or the 5 connection, healthy uses of the 2 connection, maybe the meditation thing, the 9. But if you don't have those tools, it might just be, I've revved myself up so much and now I need alcohol and weed to take me down because I don't know how to, bringing myself down is not part of my personality arsenal. I just know how to go, go, go all the time. And I need substances or people to help bring me down.
Where it's almost like he's staying super busy and super active, so he doesn't have to deal with what's actually happening.
Yeah, that could be.
And then the only way to escape it is to, where's a good weed shop?
Yeah. Well, I think you got a few more clips of him.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, there's a few more too that I didn't even get a chance to record.
In your
But yeah.
stillness, be aware of your sensations. What do you feel?
I don't know. Look, you seem like a really nice lady, but this is not my thing.
Underneath anger, there's always a sadness. Something we are grieving. What are you grieving?
I've done a lot of bad things. Trust me, I made a lot of mistakes. Whatever. And my father, he was a good man. He was a decent man. But I never got to know him, because he was murdered. And I can't get my life back. Maybe I can still get some satisfaction.
Okay. I think I know where this story is going.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably pretty accurate in the 8, because this seems like a very typical 8 character arc.
Mm-hmm.
Father was murdered, and now in the traditional Enneagram, they have certain patterns of ego-fixation that they use to describe for the types. And for 8, it's vengeance, like the commitment of life to settling a score and righting some wrong. And I think this is kind of illustrating that.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I can still get some satisfaction.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like a very evil sort of
Ye-
expression.
Yeah. Evil, but again, it does really
I don't know if that's the
illustrate
right
that
word,
sense
but
of like,
yeah.
that's the story. The evil's justified because something evil was happened to a good man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not evil. It's just my role in life to
Balance.
settle the
things.
score.
Yeah.
To balance things, and that's the 8
An
pattern.
eye for an eye.
Yes.
An eye for an eye. Yeah. Even like some of the cards that you have on your website,
Mm-hmm.
like that one where the guy's like the fighter and he's got the head
Mm-hmm.
in his hand, like that. That's what I see when
Yeah.
when I hear him say that. He's like out for blood.
All right.
Yeah. So
Cool. Well, before we go too much into it, I think you have some other clips. So
okay.
This is a good 8 character study, I think. So let's see what else we can see out of it.
Okay.
Virtue for you, everybody. This is the cobra, the Thailand cobra, Naja cobra. It is the poison snake and the venomous snake, dangerous snake. Have a lot. Poison can kill person one bite, cobra bite 30 minutes. Good. Die. But don't worry, 15 minutes go hospital. It's not far from here. The python is the world's longest snake. The python can kill the big animal. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. You're free. Come on. Go.
What are you doing?
Oh man, he lets the cobras out.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you see in that clip, or what did you think was interesting about that one?
Well, I thought the vengeance was like he was rabid with vengeance. Like he was like the desire to get vengeance was just became this seething, blood boiling thing
Okay.
where he just had to find he couldn't even control himself anymore. So much that he let a bunch of cobras out.
But was he but here's what I'm thinking about. What was his intention for doing that?
I think he's gonna catch one.
And I don't think he wasn't trying to harm the people there, right?
I don't know for sure, but I think he was trying to maybe get one of them, maybe so he could capture one and take it with him to use as a.
Okay.
That's in my head what I was thinking. I have
Yeah.
no clue to know for sure.
I think it could also potentially show kind of that, like, there is something innate, like, of seeing some wrong was done to someone who was innocent or didn't deserve it. And I'm almost wondering if he saw, like, hey, these snakes don't deserve this, like, cage life. So it kind of shows that where,
Okay.
as much as sometimes eights can be harsh or they can do bad things, as he self-admitted, like, there's that conflicted nature where they're trying to protect innocence, but when they're trying to protect innocence yet also trying to get vengeance, like they end up like becoming the thing they hate, or they end up hurting innocent people in their quest to protect innocence, and like there's all those kind of interesting dynamics. So I almost, again, who knows,
I like your take on that.
like
Actually,
I almost see it as him, like he's seeing something innocent in the snakes.
So he's trying to free himself.
Yeah, like he's trying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the snakes did a bad thing because they have cobra
Yeah.
venom. But I think he's seeing himself as something that he wants to let go and free. So he's letting the snakes free.
So
or
I mean, it kind of
something.
shows just the limitations of that worldview of like seeing, there's the evil and then there's the innocence, and to fight the evil, I have to like become vengeful and settle the score, but then the innocents get hurt. Like, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I like your take on it. I didn't think of it from that perspective. So this is good. We're talking about it. I do think he got some instant karma, though.
Sure. Yeah.
Immediate karma, because he's
He tried to
doing
protect
the wrong
innocent
thing.
snakes, but then his innocent girlfriend got bitten, and
Yeah.
it's
He got feedback really quick that it probably wasn't the right choice.
life can get messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Rick, you released a bunch of venomous snakes today. You do realize that? You're fucking deranged.
I felt bad for him.
Okay. There. I felt bad for him. Like I do think it shows that kind of very like childlike. I want to protect the innocent that from harm and from force and from captivity and from being controlled.
Yeah.
Right. But then how do you go about doing that? Yeah. So
Snakes are evil. Read the Bible.
Well, even evil things shouldn't be treated like shit. It's only gonna make them more evil.
Yeah. Well, I could have been killed.
Sorry.
You're not going to get rid of me that easy. If you kill me, I'll follow you into the next life and the next. You'll never get rid of me. You're insane. Insane.
that's a fun
scene.
way to handle being bit by a snake.
Yeah.
You're insane, but you're my soulmate, and I'll follow you. Yeah. Okay.
From lifetime to lifetime.
All right. Well, yeah. I think him just saying, even evil things don't deserve. It'll make them more. I think again, it iterates that kind of conflicted protector of the innocent type of 8 motivation.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. Like if let's say she is a 9, right, in this show or whatever, and to me, I think she's kind of going to a little bit of a one wing there, where she's like 9 might not like want to put down a bunch of rules, but an Enneagram 1 would be like, you know what,
snakes are evil.
Snakes are evil. Here are the rules, and if you break the rules, Rick. She's saying this, karma's going to come after you, or I will, in this lifetime or any lifetime thereafter. So you think you can break these big rules and you're going to be free of it. But just a little surprise, you're going to be born again. And then I'm going to follow you around. But I think she's saying maybe like soulmate, follow you around, like I'll see you because we're eternal lovers. But it could be like her speaking through the one karmic voice.
Okay.
Where she's like...
Is karma overtly kind of mentioned on this show, or is that kind of what... Just curious.
This is just me.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard them talking about karma, but they're talking a lot of Buddhist topics in this show.
Okay, so then you can't avoid karma.
You can't really avoid it, but I don't know. That's how I would kind of see it. Like somehow his 8 journey, like he's balancing the scales in this quest for vengeance, or balancing the scales or whatever he's doing. She's like, don't you get it? You're deranged. Like, this is going to bite you again. Like, you're not going to be free of this. Like, do you not see this big picture?
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that message.
Yeah, this story is very similar to, we watched Lost, right? And it's very, very similar to the Sawyer story on Lost, which is another good example of the, almost the same, actually.
Yes.
Which I guess I won't say any more than that to give spoilers, but yeah. So, and it shows how sometimes these really personal feelings and patterns we can get wrapped up in are actually just kind of archetypal responses. And again, that's where...
And an archetypal journey.
Yeah, and that's, again, where being able to label that pattern and then look at it from a place of higher wisdom and see whether it's actually serving your life or not. That's where the use of to go back to the earlier conversation we had about the dangers of identifying too strongly with a type, but being able to label the patterns and then, look at them from a higher wisdom and, start asking questions like, is this serving my life? Is why you do this type of work in the first place, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. One more with Rick here, huh?
May I say something?
Sure, yeah.
You have touched my heart. And I hope you will hear me when I say it. You are not stuck. You understand? You can let go of your story. You can escape the karmic cycle. Find peace in this life.
Yeah.
Well, there's the answer to your question. Do they talk about karma? Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Karmic cycle.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you can find peace in this life. And he's like, yeah, right. That's kind of what he's saying, but she's like, no, you can.
Because the piece is actually giving up the venge story. I think that, I don't know if that's explicitly mentioned, and I don't know what happens with this character, but the piece is realizing you don't have to, there's a wholesome motivation in you that wants to, whatever it is, go in a different direction. But as traumatic, as bad, as wrong as that thing that happened was, it's not that's stealing your life. It's that ego fixation of, I have to settle the score. that's my one sole purpose in life. I have to settle it, whatever it takes. That's what I'm going after. But it's that pattern itself that's actually stealing your life.
Yeah, and he could just let it go. But man, is that a hard thing for people to do?
Yeah.
To pull yourself out of that archetypal story.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I think is interesting about the way the 8 portrays this story is it's so overtly easy to see. And some other types, the story is more covert and hidden, so it's a little bit harder to display.
Yeah.
So I think the 8 story really kind of shows it. That's why it was easy for, like, these examples make it easier for the 8 story.
Yeah. 8's, what's I going to say? Well, again, they make good TV characters because it's a dramatic thing. So yeah, and this is a very, right, we talked about 2 stories of my father was murdered and now I'm seeking revenge. But you said those are dramatic examples. It kind of reminds me, I have a memory of when I kind of first learned this lesson, and it's a little more mild, so maybe it's worth saying, because not everyone has, my father was murdered and now I want to settle the score kind of thing. So yeah, I remember I was dating a female Enneagram 8, and we both kind of weren't in the best financial circumstances, but I was a little better off than her at the time. Not because she was lazy; she actually had a PhD, which put her in a lot of debt. Whatever. So she was, again, that protector. She was caring for like orphan dogs or dogs that otherwise would have been put down or so. So again, protecting the innocent. She was doing that, but she didn't have the money to do it at the time. So I borrowed some money, not like here, but like, I understand you don't have the money now, you're trying to get a job, all that. Like, you can pay me back, at a later time, whatever. And long story short, things went sour in our relationship. We broke up, and we were like relatively amicable in the breakup process. And, a couple weeks after, I just kind of said, after we'd already had some conversations, like, how you doing? Okay, whatever. I said, what do you think's a reasonable time frame for me to get that money back that we talked about? And it's funny because her first response was very like cordial, like, oh, you can come over tomorrow and pick up the check, whatever. But then about 15 minutes later, I got like actually, you know what? I thought about it, and fuck you. I don't owe you anything. And I've said if anyone sees you around, like, there's going to be trouble or that. So don't even try, like that kind of thing. So of course, like, your first response is to get your blood boiling and to feel wronged and, be like, but we had an agreement, like, this was in no uncertain terms that this money was to be paid back. And you even admitted it. I have it on email, like all that anger, and then I kind of like went through like, what are my options here? And well, I mean, it's like $300. So am I going to hire a lawyer? Am I going to pursue legal action? In an hour or two, I'll already have used up my lawyer fees, and I'll be losing money on the proposition trying to get my money back. So whatever. And then of course, then you have your revenge fantasies. You're like, well, maybe I'll throw a brick at her car, or whatever. But then, I'm like, well, who's to say she doesn't throw it, and then we're in some back and forth.
Now all the karmic cycle begins.
Right, exactly. And that's where I really appreciated, like, as angry as I am, as wronged as I was, it's not big enough that I should lean into the one, and seek legal justice or whatever. It's not big enough. And as tempting as it is to try and level the field, I'm just going to then be starting a game that I don't want to be involved in. And who knows where it's going to end and how consuming of my life it's going to be. So, I just kind of...
Just let it go?
Just kind of ate it and let it go.
And you just have the story now.
I just have the story, but I had that experience of like, this sucked, but the best option is just to move on and not, because I could have peace now. I could have my life now, and there's things I want to do. Like I saw in that moment, it's like, because life doesn't exist in the vacuum. At that time, it's like, yeah, I got wronged or whatever, but there was also other things going on and priorities that I wanted to put my life energy into, and I kind of saw that this was just a dead end road. That, yeah,
it's a good story where you don't have to like talk about all of the bad things that happened because you followed it.
Yeah, yeah.
No one got bit by a snake, or
Yeah.
in the meantime, as you're seeking your revenge or whatever.
Right. Yes.
So, well, probably well played then.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? $300? You'd spend too much time, just way more time than it'd be worth to get that money back.
Yeah. So let go of sometimes you just got to let go of the venge narrative and move your life forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.